Well, good afternoon, my friends. Today is Wednesday, August the 30th, and I am back today for another Stitch with me. You have reached the NeedleBugg, and my name is Karen. This is a channel about cross-stitch and other types of embroidery. Wow. I recorded this yesterday, would you believe? And for some reason, my sound was all messed up again. Okay, guys, you're saying true to form, Karen. That's always what happens. So I'm going to try this again today. I would like to welcome all the new subscribers because there have been quite a few of you lately, and I am so glad you clicked on this channel and are giving it a chance. I hope you find something that you like here and will stick around for a while. To all my other subscribers, thank you so very much for coming back and hanging out with me and being part of this crazy channel, because you never know what you're going to find here, do you? It's different all the time. And to my VIP members, thank you ever so much for being part of the NeedleBugg family. What can I say? I just can't thank you enough for all the support and encouragement and everything else that you guys do. Well, I didn't think I was going to be able to, or I didn't think I was going to do a video today. What did I do with my needle? Okay, gotta find one. Because I had a test done this morning. I had to go for what they call an EGD, which is an basically it's an upper GI kind of test where I know it's going to sound really gross, but this is what they do. They put a tube down your throat to look into your esophagus and your stomach. Now, the reason I had that done is because I have a bit of what they call dysphagia, which is some difficulty in swallowing. And what happens is, or what has happened with me, is the fact that where my esophagus joins my stomach, from time to time, I end up with a stricture, which means that the opening gets smaller. And then the food doesn't want to pass through the way it should. So it's been 5 years since I had it done before. So every now and again, I have to go back and have that opening widened again. So that's what I did today. And I thought I was going to be awfully sleepy and want to just come home and sleep, because of course they put you out for that. Thank the good Lord. Because they one of the options are, first of all, do you want the anesthesia? And then they ask you about billing your insurance, or are you going to pay for it out of your own pocket, or do you not want it at all? And when they got to the do you not want it at all, my remark to them was, not in this lifetime. Better living through chemistry. I want you to put me to sleep and give me the good stuff. And they just laughed. What can I say? So, everything is fine, not to worry, all is well. Everything has been opened up appropriately again, and I won't have any trouble swallowing, at least for maybe the next 5 years. Then I may have to go back and have it done again, because what happens is it gradually um, closes back up again, especially when you have GERD, which is gastric reflux, because that just kind of irritates that lining, and then it scars up with scar tissue. And oh, so you youngins out there, don't get old. I know. I haven't figured out how not to do that, so I cannot inform you on how not to do that. So that's my saga. So if I seem a little bit out of sorts, or not quite as peppy as usual, that would be the reason why. Because now I am getting just a smidge tired. But that's okay. It took me a bit to get things to where they needed to be to do this video today, so it's quite all right. Because I really wanted to get something out for you guys. So we're gonna carry on. Before I forget to say something, because anesthesia brains. Other YouTubers have mentioned it, and I have also noticed a big fluctuation in subscribers. Like the number goes up, then the number jumps way back down, and then it goes up a little, and it's jumping all over the place. And it seems what is happening, unbeknownst why, apparently there's a problem somewhere along the line, and I don't know what's causing it, but people are randomly being unsubscribed from channels. So, I need to get my scientific goggles. Maybe this is not the day to stitch a lot. Maybe anesthesia has messed up my eyes. For some reason, YouTube is unsubscribing people from channels that they would normally, that they would be subscribed to. So if you guys wouldn't mind, check your status here and make sure you are still subscribed. Like I said, I have no idea why YouTube is doing it or why it's happening, but it is happening, and it has happened here on my channel as well as some others. Nicola, Simply a Stitcher, she mentioned it just the other day. Hallie, I think, Stitching Big Things with Hallie. Hallie, I think she mentioned it also, but I'm not quite sure that I'm remembering correctly at this point. But there have been other people that have mentioned it and said, check your status and make sure that you are still subscribed. Because not only because it is a joy to have you here and a joy to visit with all of you. approaching. Now, there's a little way to go yet, but we are approaching 15,000. 15,000 subscribers. First of all, I can't believe, I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe that. I can't. It just totally blows my mind that there are that many people that come and listen to me sit here and yak or listen to my goof ups or whatever. But yes, I think when I checked before I started, it was 14,909, I think. So there's less than 100 to go to hit 15,000, which is just wow. It's just a wow moment of milestones. So I have been collecting things for a while now to have some giveaways at 15,000 subscribers. So if your subscription was inadvertently, randomly unsubscribed, you wanted to be a subscriber again. You really do, to get in on the 15,000 giveaway. Because like I said, there may be some good stuff. Yeah, that will happen when I hit 15,000 and it stays there. Because like I said, it's been, even with the 14,900, it was 14,900, then a couple went down, then it came back up again, then a couple went down, and it's just jumping all over the place. So when it hits 15,000 and it's consistently at 15,000 and moving upward, there will be a video to do a 15,000 subscriber giveaway. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell your buddies. Tell your friends. Come and subscribe so we can move forward with that. And as you notice, it looks like I'm stitching differently. Again, I'm back to going across the row, and I am testing out marking my chart here for one. I'm sure many of you know Brenda, Handwork Maniac, and her daughter, Boss Daughter. When she stitches, she zigzags down the row, but she moves across the row by, how can I explain it best? Okay, so like here, I'm doing let's make it bigger for you. Okay, here I'm doing that stitch, okay? So rather than just jumping over here and stitching it again, oh, I think I parked that one in the wrong spot. Okay. She parks it. I have to move this one over one. because I miscounted. Bear with me. Like I said, I'm a little bit out of sorts, but we'll get there. It'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to move this over one stitch. Okay. So she parks it there, and then she will stitch these two. Okay, let me go back here because silly moi did not mark that one as, okay. So now we're going to stitch these two. So she basically is truly going stitch by stitch. So I thought, you know what? I watched her video, quite some time ago. It's been quite a while. But it happened to pop up again on my feed the other day, and I watched it again, and I thought, well, you know what? That's yet one more method to try out and see how that one works for you, because, we're always testing new things. And speaking of trying out different methods, there's a post in the For the Love of Diagonal Stitching group where Stitcher has shown on her piece, she actually marked the different stitching methods that she used when stitching that piece, just to show people that you don't have to wait and start a new piece till you test out a different method of stitching. You can do it all on the same one. You don't have to switch it. Look at mine. Mine always has different methods all over the place. On any given day, you don't know exactly what method I'm going to be using, because they're always changing. It keeps life interesting. And I'll give my secret away. It keeps people coming back to see, oh my goodness, what is she doing today? Well, I hope you come back for more reasons than just that, but there are people out there that I know of that do enjoy coming and saying, okay, what are we up to today? What method are we going to be using today? Because you never quite know. I'm pulling some notes here because I had some questions I want to answer on this video today. And I'm going to try and do that while I stitch. And hopefully I'm not going to make too many mistakes. Because if you're yelling at me, I can't hear you. So you need to yell a little louder, do you think? I'm about to have to end a thread. And Diane sent me a message that she's been sewing for a long time. But her main and she's doing a Josephine Wall. Bless her heart. Brave, brave woman. And of course, Josephine Wall charts are, well, is there any place that isn't confetti in one of her charts? Because from what I have seen of them, the whole thing is nothing but confetti. But she's working on 25 count, obviously over 1, and she's finding it difficult to end her threads with a pin stitch and was looking for some advice. First off, if you can do a pin stitch, but it works much better if you switch your needle. Don't use your tapestry needle to do the pin stitch. Use a chenille needle, because a chenille needle is much sharper and will pierce those fabric threads better for you, so that if you want to do a pin stitch, you could do a pin stitch. And that's up, that's up to the individual. The other thing you could do is do an away thread, which means you would just take your thread and, okay, if that's my last stitch and I want to end this, I would just maybe pull it up down here somewhere, so that as I work down, I would stitch over it, and that, of course, will secure it rather nicely. So that is another option. If you want to flip it over to the back, you can flip it over to the back and, of course, run it under some threads. However, I understand what you're saying. A Josephine wall, it gets rather thick with all those. It's a lot of colors and it's a lot of confetti. And Diane, I don't know if you're parking, that may be an option to do that, because maybe you wouldn't have to be ending quite as many. Well, you'd eventually have to end them, but you could go a greater distance before you'd have to end that thread. That might help. Now, I'm going to do this next stitch, and then I'm going to end my thread, and I'm going to show you what I have been doing here of late. And I am actually going to stitch. Well, I'll wait. I'm going to do this left arrow. And my thread is, that's all I have. It's not very long. So I am going to end it after I do my X. So what I have been doing is I've been doing my X. And I think I have showed this before. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up just at the bottom of the X, in between the two legs. Let me see if I can zoom you in a little bit more so that you can see that. Let me find my zoom. Okay, where is my... No, don't do that. No. Shoot. There we go. Too many things here. Oh, now and I bumped it out of the way here. Okay. Let's open this and zoom you in a bit more so that you can see. Hopefully that's not going to be too, there we go. Hopefully it's not going to be too fuzzy. Let's see if I can, nuts rotation. see if I can clear it up just a little bit. Sometimes these are rather fickle. Pickles. Okay. That's probably the best I'm going to get it. Maybe let me... oh, for crying out loud. Okay. Touchy it is. Let's zoom out just a little. Yeah, maybe that's a little better. Okay, let's try that. What I'm going to do is, you can see I've come up here and I'm actually in between the two legs of this stitch. I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to run it underneath this stitch, the next stitch, and maybe one more. And then I'm going to bring it up and thread my needle. Let's do that again. Oh, like I said, guys, bear with me today. Okay, let's try this again. All right, I'm going to run it underneath those stitches like that. And then I'm going to pull that through. Now I will unthread my needle. And then I am going to pull this up tight so that I can get as close as possible and trim that off. And in all honesty, you can't see it. You don't know. I mean, okay, let me... I don't want to zoom in any closer, but let's go back here a little bit where it's a little bit clearer. Because for some reason, the tighter I try and zoom it, okay, you really can't see where I ended that. That's too far out. Okay. But it's up underneath here, and you just hide it underneath those top stitches, and yeah, you can't, you don't notice it. Let's see if I can... I'm using a new piece of, or a new program for my phone, and I'm still having to play around a bit with focusing it, because the program I was using, I paid for it to oh, what did that do? I paid for it to renew it. Oh, wait, let's go back to where we were. I just messed this up. I'm sorry. And it wouldn't renew. I had to go to the website because it wouldn't let me do it under my Apple ID. So, yeah. And dealing with the company was just outright craziness. So I ended up saying, you know what? I'm just going to look for something else, which I did. And now I have to just figure out how to do all the what ifs and wherefores here. So, but there, it's still fuzzy. I don't like that. What makes it? See there, it's. Oh my, I'm wasting time here. Wasting your time getting this to be perfect, and it's not going to be at this moment. And it just so happens that as soon as I get something the way it's looking good and working, and then I have to turn everything off because I'm done recording, then what happens is the next time I go to record, I have to start back at square one again because it changes. For some reason, it changes all my settings. And I don't know why. See, this is such a fine line between getting it focused. And then you accidentally click on things that you shouldn't click on. There we go. There we go. You know what? We're going to let it at that. Okay, come back here. Ah, that's about the best it's been. Finally. Oh, go back up here a smidgen. It's just the most minute adjustment that you make. But there you go. And right here is where I went up underneath, and you really, I can't tell. Even sitting right here looking at it, I can't tell. So the other thing, Diane, is there is a video and I will link it in the drop down box of a video that I have done previously regarding starting and ending threads. And you just might want to give that one a look see and see if that helps you with some other suggestions. Okay. And hopefully it will. I have quite a few methods of starting and stopping in those videos. So let's see what else we have here. Becca asks what size needle to use on 28 count fabric. I think the best rule of thumb is You want the size needle that best accommodates the thread that you are using. Now, chances are, if you're working on 28 count and you're working over 1, for example, chances are you're going to probably want to use a size 28 needle. That's highly likely because you're just going to be using one strand of floss. One strand of floss will thread rather easily in a 28 count, in a size 28 needle. So that should not be a problem. However, if you are stitching on 28 count and you're stitching over 2 and you're using multiple strands of floss, or you're using a pearl cotton, you're going to want to use a different needle because you're obviously, okay, say for example, you're using a size 12 pearl cotton. You're not going to thread size 12 pearl cotton into a 28 needle. Well, you may with a needle threader, but it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. So you want to use probably at that point a 26. So I'm the person that says you want a needle, the size needle that's going to accommodate your thread, but is also going to open the hole just enough so that when you're stitching, your thread doesn't drag. Because it's the dragging. Now, not everybody buys into this philosophy, but I do feel that it's the friction of the thread rubbing against the fabric if the hole isn't opened quite enough that causes your thread to get thin and to fray, or to get that ratty tail at the end, or to pull apart even. Yes, a lot of times it is the eye of the needle that does that because maybe the eye is rough. But it also has to do with the size of the needle that you're using, opening up that hole. Not that you want it to make a big gaping hole in your fabric, but you do want it to make an area that is big enough for the thread to go through without rubbing terribly hard against the fabric itself. So I hope that answers your question. So first, pair it up with what size, what thread am I going to use? And will it thread easily into the eye of that needle? And then take it from there. I'm not sure how you say this name. It looks to me like it's BJM42 asks, is it possible to get 20 count fabric in a linen or an even weave? And the answer to that is yes, it is. 20 count you can get in Legacy Linen, makes a 20 count linen. Of course, there's 20 count Ada cloth, but Lugana also has a 20 count. Now, I have, and it's a little old, I have of a list that was published by Needle in a Haystack. And it's back from 2011. So some of it may not be 100% accurate anymore. But for the most part, you'll be able to see what fabrics are available in what counts and who the manufacturers are. So I will put a link to that in the drop-down box for all of you. It'll be in my Dropbox, but I will link it here so that you can go and either look at it or download it or whatever. But it is a pretty complete list of everything that is available or was available at that point in time. Some of the things may have been discontinued, and there may be some new things that have been added. But at least this will give you a general idea of what's out there and what count that fabric comes in. So that'll be in the drop-down box, or a link to it will be in the drop-down box. Let me end this. Come on, come on. My hands are not working today. Okay. There we go. Getting. Okay, what else do I have to answer here? Oh, okay. One other question that I had was, what do I use to grid fabric? Okay, because as you can see on this piece, this is pre-gridded fabric because here's your gray lines. However, they are so light, I have difficulty seeing them. So what I do is I go over, pardon me, the gray line with either a bowhin marker. This is a fabric marker. It's a fine blue marker. You can get them on Amazon. It's called a bowhin marker. It's erasable with water, so that when you got to wash this to get the gray lines out, so when you wash it, it takes this blue line away also. The other thing I like to use is a chalk pencil. So this is a bowhin chalk pencil. It's like a mechanical pencil, only it uses ceramic chalk. I find the green ceramic chalk to be the best to use because that comes off rather easily. Yellow is not dark enough when you have a light colored fabric. White obviously does not show up. And the gray, I've used that and I had difficulty getting that out. So the green has worked the best. And it's a ceramic chalk refill that goes in this pencil. Now, just another word about gridding. A lot of people use the friction pens. And I would caution you if you use those. Because here's the deal. Yes, the lines disappear. They don't go away. They disappear with heat. Fine, great, and wonderful. If that piece gets cold for whatever reason, those lines may come back. I also know someone who it was not cold and the lines came back, and she had a devil of a time getting them out. So I would just caution against using those. If you do use them, yes, make them invisible with the heat, but wash your piece. Because what happens is, yeah, you're making the lines disappear with the heat, but that's not removing the ink. The ink is still there. That's why when it's cold or gets cold, the lines come back, because the cold stimulates that chemical reaction again, and the line is going to show up again. Or over time, they don't show up as a blue line or whatever, but they'll show up as a yellow line, so that you know there's something there that shouldn't be there. So you want to wash your piece so that you get the residual ink out. I do not have a lot of experience with them because, yes, I used it once. I haven't washed the piece yet, but where I used it, it's under dark thread where it's not really going to matter if the lines come back, because you won't be able to see them anyway. But if you are using it over to grid your whole piece and there's light colors in there, you're going to see them underneath those light colors. So you want to wash it in hopes that that will remove that residual ink that is there, so that it doesn't get activated again and causing a line. So all I can say is I caution you about using the friction pens. If it's all dark, like, I wouldn't hesitate to use them under this, because golly gee, you're not going to see you're not going to see it if they come back. However, I'm going to know they're under there. So I would caution you about that. Okay. I think I'm going to call this a day, because I think my leftover anesthesia is catching up with me, because now I'm getting a bit tired and a bit, maybe I want to take a napish. But I did, like I said, I did want to get a video out there for you guys. I had planned on doing it yesterday, but yeah, my sound was just not agreeing with me. So it took me a while to fix it today, but hey, it's fixed, and hopefully this is recording just fine and I can upload it. And golly geez, it is already 3:00 in the afternoon. So yeah, till I get this uploaded and what have you. Yeah. Yeah. So, my dear people, I am going to bid you farewell. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And I will catch you. Geez, I will catch you next time. So, have a great rest of your week. Happy stitching. And I will see you in the next video.